Welcome to another quick Photoshop tip from H&H Color Lab. In today's video tip, we're going to talk about rulers. To turn your rulers on, go up to View and choose Rulers, or just remember the shortcut key for rulers, which is Command or Control R. When the rulers come on, they may be in inches when you start. If you want to see the different units you can measure them in, just right-click in the ruler bar option and you can change that to any option between pixels, centimeters, points, picas, or percentages. Now, the reason I bring rulers up a lot is when I'm looking to find the center of a document. In a case like this image right here, a 4 inch by 5 inch, it's really easy for me to do the math in my head and say 2 inches by 2.5 inches is the center of that document and find that very quickly and easily. But if I open up another file here that I have, this one is sized to be 15 3/4 or 15.75 by 21.375. Finding the center of that would require me either going to my calculator or just kind of guesstimating. So let's look at some easy ways to find the center of a document. The way that I use the most often is just right-click on that ruler bar, change that to percentages, and then I can drag a guideline out from the left side. Let me click in the right spot there, bring that to 50%, and from the top and bring that down to 50%, and I found the center without having to do any difficult math. Now, there's one other way that we could do this. Let's just change these back to the inches and clear our guides one last time. When we're in inch mode, we can always go under View, New Guide, and type in a vertical guide. Instead of leaving that as inches, we'll type that as in as a percent, and we'll do View, New Guide again, and go to a horizontal, and we've got our center point once again. You can use that for any number. Let's say New Guide, and let's do one at 25%. For the horizontal, View, New Guide. For the vertical, we'll do 25% as well. So you can find those percentages pretty easy. Now let's do one step further. Let's go ahead and clear those guides. Let's say that you want guidelines at 33%. You want to do a rule of third guidelines on your image. And it's something that you want to do on a regular basis. So I'm going to create a new action. I'm going to call this action Rule of Thirds. And I'll start recording it, and I'll just call it Guides. And when I'm in, I'll start by doing this. I'll come under View, New Guide, and just step this through 33%, View, New Guide, 66%, View, New Guide, and just repeat this all 4 times. And there's my rule of thirds. So we'll stop recording. Now let's see if this works on other aspect ratios. To double check this, I'm going to open up that 2.5 by 3 document that we used earlier and just run the action on it and look and see that it actually did not work. What happened? Well, I'll show you what happened here. Is if we look specifically, pull my action palette out so we can see it a little bit easier, and we come down here and look at where it made the guides, it actually made those guides at a specific inch dimension. You see here the position gives this in inches. So how do we make this work? Well, let's redo this action a little bit differently. We'll close this image. We'll go back to our 4 by 5 and we'll clear the guides on that. And we'll delete that action set. Or actually, we'll leave it in there as a comparison, and we'll type in New Guides. Now this time, before I start working on the action, I'm going to change my rulers to percentages. Then I'm going to come in and create those new guides again and stop recording. We'll go back and open up that 2.5 by 3 document, run the action this time, and our guides are at those rule of thirds. So let's compare the two actions. And so we'll close those up so we can see new guides at 1.32 inches on the first action when the ruler was set to 2 inches. On the new action with the ruler set to percentages, it shows that as a percentage in there. So that's why it works this second time. Now, I don't have to leave my rulers on percentages for this to work, so we'll just clear out the guides and set my rulers back 2 inches and play that one more time, and it still works because the action was recorded using percentages. Okay, let's do one more thing, and I've got another set of actions here that I've already recorded, just doing the same steps that we did earlier. And we'll open up another image here. We'll go to a 10 by 8, and let's put our guides at 50%, so right in the center. Now let's say if this was an album spread and we knew that was going to be the spine, we want everything worked off of that center point. Let's reset our rulers by just clicking up here in the upper left corner, dragging that down. Come on, let's grab it there. And see how I have this crosshairs? I'm going to snap that to my guides, and now my 0 point for the horizontal and the vertical is the center of the image. So everything is measured off 1 inch to each side, and if I need to reset that back, just double click in that corner and it resets my 0 point to the upper left corner. We'll do that one more time, so I'm going to close this image, don't save it. And we'll open up one more canvas here. I'm going to redock my action palette there, and we'll go to a 5 by 7 here that I've got created. We'll run the 50% action and then just snap the rulers into the center. So now everything is zeroed off from the center of my image. Well, that brings us to the end of this video tip. Hopefully you have some great ideas on how to use rulers and percentages to find the center of your documents, and you can just sit all day long just pulling those guidelines up and putting stuff right in the center.